Why my wife is afraid of Teletubbies. And now, I am afraid of it as well. To let you understand. My wife hates realistic dolls and baby dolls. Those that you would normally see a 3-year-old little girl carry around. So much that it was a rule that we would never buy any such dolls for our children. Any gifts of this kind from friends or family must never be opened and thrown into the back of the storeroom, never to be mentioned again. She just feels that those kind of dolls are super creepy, and probably due to movies like Chucky and such that made her react this way. But one thing she hates more than those dolls, the one thing that she hates in fear, is Teletubbies. She never enjoyed the show on the TV even as a child. My wife is a very logical person, smart and funny, so this kind of fear seemed very out of place. I had tried asking her about her disdain a few times, whether it was because she received a bad prank when she was a kid regarding Teletubbies that resulted in some kind of trauma, or did she experience something else, but she would just shush me and carry on with what she was doing. It was until one day when I received a package from my parents, she freaked out. My parents told me when they were cleaning up their house, they found a box I put away as a kid, and thought that maybe it was a nice notion to send the box to me so that I could reminiscence my childhood. I told my wife about it after we put our children to sleep, and we decided to open the box together as she was interested in what kind of toys I played with as a child. There wasn't a lot, but it was filled with my favorite toys when I was young. Plastic miniature figures, Pokémon, Digimon and such, deck boxes containing trading card games, Pokémon, Yu-Gi-Oh!, Duel Master, a few other toys that I loved as a child. When we almost cleared out the box, my wife froze. Right at the bottom of the box was Tinky Winky, the purple Teletubbies. My wife stared hard at it. I had no idea how to react. Knowing how much she hated it, after she seemed to have noticed something on it, she pushed everything aside and ran to her room. I wanted to follow her, but I realized, yes, I had owned a Teletubbies when I was young, but I was never fond of it, never slept with it, and it always sitting in the storeroom, which was kind of weird as I have a small translucent storage box where I keep my toys. It would never be in this box I kept. Worst thing was, I remember I owned Po, the red one, but never a Tinky Winky. I snapped back and ran after my wife, who has already locked herself inside our room. Dear, what happened? So sorry about the Teletubbies, I know you dislike it, I had no idea it would be in the box. Open the door, will you? You are scaring me with your reaction. She didn't answer right away. When I heard her hyperventilating, I started to panic. That was when she replied, with a wavering voice, "Why do you have that Teletubbies? Why do you have my Teletubbies?" I was dumbfounded, it didn't make any sense. What do you mean it is yours? Thinking back that I really did not own any Tinky Winky. Could it be that your parents wanted to prank you and sent it to my parents? Sounds very far-fetched, but I was trying anything that makes even just a little sense in this weird situation. No. Why did you come back? You should have stayed gone. I forced my way in and found my wife in the corner of the room sobbing. Talk to me. What do you mean by come back? You are really scaring me. She tried to calm down but to no avail, and tried to explain to me through her weeping, I actually liked Teletubbies as a kid. Really liked Tinky Winky. You know my parents weren't that well off, but one Christmas, my parent brought one home for me. As a kid I didn't ask much where they got it as I was so happy. I was inseparable from it. Her voice started to trail off, seemingly unwilling to continue the story. Why did you come to hate it so much then? Failing to toughen her voice, she continued with her voice breaking, you know me. I have a little asthma. After the first few nights sleeping with it, I started wheezing, and my parents told me it is best if I don't hug it to sleep. I didn't want to separate from it, but I also hated the breathlessness I kept feeling. But every morning when I wake up, it would be right beside my face. It didn't felt creepy as I was still young. But the breathlessness. Sometimes it feels even worse when I was sleeping. I would sometimes wake up gasping for air. Like someone, or something was suffocating me. Listening to her story, the air felt stale and dead, like the story itself was suffocating me as well, making me think back to my own Teletubbies and why it was always kept in the storeroom and not with my other toys. She continued, one night, I woke up in the middle of the night. I couldn't move, I couldn't breathe, and something was crawling up my arm, from the corner of my eye. Tinky Winky. It was trying to prop itself upright next to my face. Its TV was showing the static screen at first. Then it switched. A bloodshot eye without an iris was staring at me. It was empty, but it felt like it was staring into my soul. I couldn't close my eyes either. And I heard a voice in my head. She started to get a little hysterical. I see you. I freaked out. Felt an adrenaline rush and I grabbed it by the antenna. Threw it across the room, tearing it in the process while screaming. My parents rushed in. Instead of consoling me, they proceed to scold me for tearing it. My mother quickly took it to sew the antenna back. Thinking back to the unboxing, the antenna wasn't upright like it normally would be, kind of felt like it was held in place by something else. Everything was so weird. The next day it disappeared. And my parents seemed to have forgotten all about it. Like it never was in the house before, due to it being so traumatic to me. I didn't ask, but I can never hold a Teletubbies again. So why is it here now? I ran out back to the box with cold sweat, but the Tinky Winky was nowhere to be found. That was when I heard it. Do you see me too? Both my wife and I heard gigglings inside our children's room and we both ran to check, only to find our children sleeping soundly. We have been losing sleep, afraid in the night, paranoid towards any sound in the house. Once in a while, we hear gigglings from different parts of the house, but most frequently in our children's room. I am looking at new houses to move to right now. But something inside me tells me it will not be the end. Do you see it?